Welcome back. Another day, another read. And today I'm just going to channel. So, for the specific individual that I'm channeling for, you are someone that has gone through so much transformation, so many transitions in your life, that things are no longer the same that they once were. You have a hard time like connecting with, the things that you used to enjoy, the way that you used to interact, the way that you used to view the world. So much of you has changed that you can't seem to fit in this like certain paradigm or like timeline anymore. And so you're in this period of transition where it's like you're being reemerged, but you're still in the deepest, darkest depths of the world, where you're like noticing all the shadow aspects, all the dark emotions, and all the things that are needing to just be purified and released in order for you to like have that strong liberation out of you. And it's just like a whole process. Like you're in this darkness, and you're like seeking this guidance, but it's like, where is the light? And Spirit's just like, you have been the light the entire time, but you had to like first realize that within your own self. We can't be telling you this entire time like that you're lights. You had to recognize that you are the lights. There's going to be small glimpses here and there that's going to show you like you are the light, but you had to know it within your own self, like you are the light. Keep on shining, keep on being you, keep being bright. You have given yourself, one hell of a journey, to be honest with you. Like you've gone through turmoils, you've gone through betrayals, you've gone through like, seasons of where you were going through a drought. You've gone through a period where, there was just a lot of baggage, bondages that held you back, made you question yourself, made you doubt you. Times where you went through tough cycles where, you seriously couldn't get yourself out of like, that negative attachment, the negative like, routine, habit, pattern, whatever it was, because you were still living in an unconscious way that still needed to be addressed and made to peace with, because there was parts of you that you were still rejecting, not being able to see. And so you had people mirror that shit back to you. And it was until you finally had like, those breakthroughs, those tower moments where it's like, here, recognize that this has been a version of you that you're needing to release. And because you needed to release, you needed to first like, come to terms with the damage, with the impact of what it really was. Most of it having to do with your divine masculine and your divine feminine, the roles that they played, and also your relationship with your parents, how that deeply was embedded in your mind. And then knowing the relationship that you had with your siblings, that's if you had any, or your close community, or the way that like your upbringing really was and how you retained information, like really dictated who you were as a person for quite some time. But now Spirit show you the revelations. Spirit show you the truth. Spirit has put you through this whole entire journey so that way you can discover who you really are at the end of the day. They didn't ever want you to be in deception. They didn't want you falling like victim to like these fallacies, these lies, this manipulation that was going on for a long time. And this manipulation was going on within your own family, your own people, the people that was closest to you. And that really made you feel more astray, more abandoned, more like isolated, because it's like, how can I trust anybody anymore after all of this? And that's where Spirit's like saying, like, give yourself faith. Keep giving faith. Trust freely. Because as much as you distrust, the more trust you actually have, because you're still trusting that. And Bashar has said it so many times. Bashar has mentioned this part where it's like, when you trust something that's not really working, it's because you haven't that much trust in that. So if you can really trust that, you can really trust in the opposite side. But it's really in perception and the way that you perceive in the world. Because in all reality, it's the way that you operate your mind and how you allow things to flow. Like, are you really going to allow your mind to bind you to these paradigms? Or are you really going to liberate yourself from this pain body, from this association, from like the mind that is wanting to keep you in reality, into logic, into like this resourcefulness of like lack mentality or survival? Because what your mind is really doing is wanting to keep you to survive, because the mind is going to do whatever it needs to do to protect you. But it's for you to transcend from the mind in order for you to be free. And this is what I'm here to remind you of, that like, free yourself from this mind. There's so much noise going on. There's just so much cloudedness, so many doubts, so many illusions, so many perceptions of you that you are not even aware of. Like, you're missing the entire point because it's so foggy. You can't see yourself clearly when there's broken mirrors, when there's just this fog clouding your mirror. Like, you can't see yourself clearly. There's just a distortion, a warped image right in front of you. So this is why Spirit's like saying, like, wipe that shit out. Clear that shit out. Walk away from this, because it's not serving you. It's clouding you. You know deep within your own self what you're worthy of. Why do you keep denying yourself of heaven? Because you are heaven made on earth. Bring heaven into your life. Why do you keep choosing to be in this fucking hellhole? You know this isn't for you. You already been shown the signs. Why be in denial? Why put yourself in this situation? Why even do this? But again, Source does not judge you for it. Source really just knows, like, you need to be put in this process in order for you to rediscover yourself once again. So that way you can get to know yourself once again. And I'm sure as hell know that there is something higher for you, a higher purpose, a higher calling waiting to be, reasoned with. Because you know deep within your own soul, you have a greater mission, and you just can't seem to see it right now because there's just so much confusion happening. And I'm here to remind you that this confusion doesn't have to exist. You just have to really boop, make it go blank. Make it go blank, because you have the power and the will. Like, the more that you entertain it, the more that it's going to be there. So why even entertain it? Why even let it affect you? Why even let it phase you? Why do you care so much about these people's opinions and thoughts when they don't even know you? They don't even know what your true soul really is. They don't know you at your core. They just know you based on their perspective, based on their experiences, based on their own truths, but not in the truth of your soul. Because your soul is transcendental. It is higher. It is love. It's source. It's energy. It is one with the universe. So here to remind you again that you are just one with the universe. Don't confuse yourself as there's this separation or duality going on, or there's this war or enemies around you. When there's not. There's never been a war. It was just deployed to keep you separated and at war within your own self. And that's what they have been trying to do all along. Without knowing, unconsciously, because that's what they've been programmed to do all along. But now that you know the reality, it is time for you to liberate yourself. You've been knowing truths after truths. Why even deny it? But it's really you letting that information sink in, so that way you can just be freed from the facade, from the fakeness, from the things that don't resonate with your soul and that inspire you and make you be vibrant. Because I already know what really makes you vibrant. And it's certainly not the thing that you've been entertaining for quite some time. It's certainly not it. And we know that. Because if it was, you would have been enthralled. But you're not. You're not enthralled. You're actually pushing through. And because you feel like there's a specific lesson that you're needing to learn, or you feel like you need to prove yourself to be oh, well, I need to go through this in order for me to feel like I'm valuable. No, sweetie. You've been valuable this entire time. You've been valuable and worthy this entire time. Before any of this, before the titles, before the deceptions, before the manipulation, before, you being raised in the family that you were raised in, you are already valuable as is. There is no price tag on you. You're just rich as is. But you really got to get that in your mind. Until further notice, I can't convince you otherwise of any of this. But if this reading comes to you in your For You page, or if this resonates, oh well. Let it resonate. And if it doesn't, leave it out the window. Do not even force it. I'm not going to force you to believe this. I'm not going to push you to believe this. And whoever is meant to hear this will hear this. But I'm not going to force an individual to believe what I got to say. If this resonates deep in your soul and it shakens you up and it makes you want to, I got to do something about this, then go for it. But if it doesn't, you know what? Maybe some other person can get through to you. Maybe someone else can. But until then, I wish you the best of luck in your journey. I hope, you have so much peace and joy in your life, and that you find the clarity that you need. And with that being said, have a great rest of your night, and thank you for tapping in. This has been Alchemy of Knowledge. My name is Dulce, and there's that. Bye.